What happens when a lifetime of hate meets a moment of truth? Today, something unexpected happened at the hospital. Something no one thought possible. Steffy walked into that room not just as a daughter or mother, but as someone caught between pain, protection, and the hope of closure. And what followed was nothing short of extraordinary. With Hayes safely in her arms, Steffy stood at the doorway of the hospital room, her heart pounding with a storm of emotions. The antiseptic air couldn't mask the weight of what was about to unfold. On the bed lay Sheila, pale, quiet, and changed. The woman who once brought chaos now seemed almost broken. Sheila Carter had done unspeakable things, things that tore families apart. But today, something shifted. Lying wounded, she wasn't the predator anymore. She was a mother who had jumped in front of a bullet. Not for herself, but for Steffy. For the first time in her life, she chose someone else. Hayes, innocent and curious, looked at the stranger and asked softly, "Mommy, who is she?" Steffy knelt down beside him and, with a shaky breath, replied, "This is Sheila, your grandmother." Sheila's eyes widened, shimmering with tears. Her lips trembled as she whispered, "My grandson." She reached forward, slowly, hesitantly, expecting rejection. But Steffy didn't pull Hayes away. Instead, Hayes, full of compassion beyond his years, gently placed his tiny hand on Sheila's. In that moment, time seemed to stop. For Sheila, that small touch was everything, more powerful than any words or forgiveness. "I never thought I'd see you," she whispered. "I've done terrible things, but when I stood in front of that bullet, I didn't think. I just wanted to protect you." Steffy, still guarded but moved, quietly said, "You did save me. That matters." Hayes, noticing the tears, looked at both women and asked, "Why are you crying?" Steffy smiled through the sadness. "Because even when someone has hurt you, they can still surprise you with kindness. It's confusing, but it's real." Sheila giggled through a sob and softly said, "I may never deserve a second chance, but that one moment, holding his hand, it made me feel human again." Outside the room, Finn stood watching, torn between hatred and hope. He had begged Steffy not to bring Hayes, but as he watched Sheila cry, and Hayes offer his hand without fear, something inside him cracked. The ice of years started to melt. Later, as they walked down the hospital corridor, Finn asked, "How did it go?" Steffy answered with a mix of wonder and sorrow. He smiled. He called her Grandma. But behind them, a nurse was watching, listening, and dialing a number. Because every act of peace can awaken an old danger. That night, the house felt quiet, but heavy. "Do you regret it?" Finn asked. Steffy hesitated. "No, but I'm scared of what it means." Back at the hospital, Sheila was restless. But this time, it wasn't revenge keeping her awake. It was hope. Deacon visited her surprised. "She called me Grandma," Sheila whispered, almost in disbelief. "It was real. Even if it never happens again." Deacon warned her. "You've had many chances. Don't ruin this." "I won't," Sheila promised. "I want a change. For Hayes. For them. Even if I'm never accepted. But peace is fragile." The next morning, Ridge stormed into the house, furious. "You took Hayes to see her?" "She saved my life, Dad," Steffy shot back. "You may never understand, but I needed to do this. For closure." Even Taylor returned early from her trip. Heartbroken. "You walked right into her world again," she said. "No," Steffy replied. "I walked in strong, and I walked out stronger." As Sheila stepped out of the hospital that day, holding a photo of her with Hayes, she didn't know what the future held. But for once, she believed. Not in revenge, but in redemption. That night, as Steffy tucked Hayes into bed, he whispered, "Well, Steffy answered, "Maybe, but only if it's safe." Hayes smiled and said, "She was nice." Steffy stood outside his door, quiet, because even in the darkest stories, sometimes a child's touch can bring a flicker of light. And for Sheila Carter, that flicker might just be the last chance to change everything.